Who was the most controversial linebacker? Bill Romanowski. A four-time Super Bowl champion who was often described as a paid assassin, remembered just as much for his altercations as for what he did on the field. Opponents feared him, and sometimes even his own teammates did too. His aggressive style made him one of the most intimidating players in the NFL. Romanowski built a reputation for playing on the edge. He was known for brutally hard hits that sometimes left opponents injured, and even had moments where his actions hurt his own teammates. One of the most infamous incidents involved a fist fight that ended a teammate's career and effectively brought his own career to a close as well. Combined with steroid use and the long-term effects of CTE, his intense style helped turn him into one of the most feared and controversial players in NFL history. This is the story of Bill Romanowski and the dramatic rise and fall of his career. Welcome. If you enjoy this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Childhood and high school. William Romanowski was born on April 2, 1966, in Vernon, Connecticut, to Bill and Donna Romanowski. He grew up with 4 siblings, making him one of 5 children in the family. Although his parents worked hard, money was often tight in the Romanowski household. His father had once been a standout basketball player and strongly pushed his son toward sports, hoping he would follow a similar path. But it soon became clear that basketball wasn't where Bill's future lay. Instead, football would become his true calling. As a kid, Romanowski looked up to Herschel Walker. He even followed the legendary running back's intense workout routine like it was a rulebook, doing 100,000 push-ups and 100,000 sit-ups every year. That dedication transformed him from a 5 feet 9 inches, 140-pound freshman in high school into someone with a college-ready build by the time he reached his senior season. At Rockville High School, Romanowski developed into an elite talent. When his high school career ended, several top college programs, including Boston College, Miami, and Notre Dame, showed strong interest in recruiting him. Looking back on that time, Romanowski once said, "I could go into the military or get a sports scholarship." Fortunately for him, he chose the second option, deciding to stay relatively close to home and attend Boston College. College career. It didn't take long for Romanowski to prove he belonged on the field. During his freshman year, he quickly earned a starting role. At the time, defensive statistics were not tracked nearly as thoroughly as they are today, and for linebackers the main stat recorded was interceptions. In his freshman season, he managed 2 interceptions across 11 games. Boston College started that year ranked 19th in the country and went on an impressive run through the regular season, including big wins over the 9th-ranked Alabama and the 12th-ranked Miami. The Eagles finished with a strong 9-2 record, earning a trip to the Cotton Bowl against the Houston Cougars. The game wasn't particularly close, as Boston College came out on top 45-28. Heading into the 1985 season, however, the Eagles had lost a lot of key talent. Despite their success the year before, they entered the new season unranked. It turned out to be a forgettable year, ending with a disappointing 4-8 record. Romanowski finished the season with just 1 interception, though statistics never fully showed his true value. By then, he had already built a reputation as a hard-hitting linebacker who brought fear to opposing players. Romanowski later described how his mindset in college differed from many of his teammates. "While my friends were out until 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, my self-imposed curfews made sure I got at least 8 hours of sleep." Things improved for Boston College during his junior year. Although the team didn't break into the top 25 rankings until after the season ended, they finished strong with a 27-24 victory over the 17th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs in the Hall of Fame Bowl. Romanowski also recorded a career-high 4 interceptions that season. But in 1987, his senior year, Boston College went through a major downturn. Romanowski still performed well, recording 2 interceptions and earning second-team All-American honors. Yet even with his strong play, he couldn't carry the team alone. The Eagles struggled to a 5-6 record, and his college career came to a difficult end with a 45-7 loss to Syracuse. Draft day. Even though his final college season ended on a sour note, Romanowski had already done enough to prove he was NFL ready. Despite the team's struggles, he remained one of the few consistent bright spots on the Boston College roster, even during their toughest years. He was exactly the kind of linebacker teams were searching for in that era, someone who hit hard and showed absolutely no mercy on the field. At the same time, during his years at Boston College, he had also proven that he could hold his own in pass coverage. In the 3rd round of the 1988 NFL Draft, with the 80th overall pick, the San Francisco 49ers selected Romanowski. For a young player at the time, this was one of the best situations he could have landed in. Breaking onto the field would not be easy right away, but the 49ers were in the middle of their dynasty years. The team was filled with future Hall of Famers on both offense and defense, players who were already known for their maturity and who could serve as valuable mentors. NFL career. Even though the 49ers defense had respected leaders like Ronnie Lott, it also included one player whose reputation was even more notorious than Romanowski's, Charles Haley. Haley was known as a wild presence both on and off the field, someone who made life miserable for teammates and opponents alike. Before Romanowski even played his first NFL snap, Haley had already started targeting him. Romanowski later described how the situation began with constant torment and eventually ended in a fight. He explained that Haley liked to choose a rookie to pick on each year. When the rookies arrived at training camp, Haley would get in their faces, call them names, and push them constantly. In 1988, Romanowski was that rookie. At first, he tried to ignore it while getting a feel for the team environment. But after a couple of days, he had enough. Romanowski told Haley, "Okay, Charles, let's go outside." Haley laughed it off. The next day, Romanowski said it again, "Let's go outside. We'll settle this right now. I promise you one thing. Only one of us is walking back in, and it's not going to be you." By the 5th day, the moment finally came. During a special teams punt drill, Haley lined up across from him just to provoke him. Haley grabbed him and wouldn't let go. Romanowski tried to break free but couldn't. So he grabbed Haley's face mask, punched him 5 times, and dropped him. After that, the harassment stopped. That toughness and fearlessness helped Romanowski get on the field during all 16 games of his rookie season. By the middle of the year, he had even earned a starting role, starting 8 games. In Week 11, he had what might have been the most important moment of his career, but not in the way people would expect. During a game, Los Angeles Raiders tight end Ethan Horton pushed him in the back after a play. The next day, during film review, Ronnie Lott saw it happen. Lott stopped the film, turned on the lights, and tore into Romanowski. "This is a game about respect," Lott told him. "If you let someone do that to you again, I'll come after you myself." Something changed in Romanowski after that moment. Almost overnight, his mentality on the field became far more aggressive. From brutal hits to starting fights, nothing seemed off-limits for him anymore. Ironically, that freedom made him an even more effective player. In the Super Bowl, he made what could have been a game-saving interception during the 20-6 victory. He finished his rookie season with 53 tackles and 3 forced fumbles. Even in practice, Romanowski never seemed to have an off switch. He once described the first padded practice of the 1989 season. During the session, he delivered a massive hit on Roger Craig. "Romo, what the hell is wrong with you?" Craig shouted as he got up. Romanowski later recalled that moment clearly. It was only his second year with the team, and Craig was already a legendary All-Pro running back, while he himself was just a young third-round pick trying to earn a starting linebacker job. But Romanowski got right in Craig's face, helmet to helmet, and told him, "Get ready, because I'm bringing it all day." He described how he pushed himself into a dark mental space to play the sport he loved. Craig looked at the young linebacker, stunned by the wild intensity in his eyes, almost as if he thought Romanowski had lost control. But Romanowski insisted he hadn't. Even with this intense mentality, he still struggled to secure a permanent starting role, starting only 4 of the 16 games he played that season. He finished the season with an interception, a forced fumble, a sack, and 53 tackles, once again proving that he was a valuable piece of an already elite defense. That year, San Francisco captured its second straight Super Bowl, this time dominating the Denver Broncos with a 55-10 victory. In 1990, Romanowski finally got his opportunity and secured a full-time starting role. He recorded 79 tackles and a sack during the season. The 49ers looked ready for another Super Bowl run after finishing the regular season with an impressive 14-2 record. However, their journey ended in the NFC Championship, where they were stunned by the New York Giants in a close 15-13 loss. During that game against the Giants, one of Romanowski's most infamous moments happened at the bottom of a pile. He was trying to strip the ball from Giants running back Dave Medjet. When he couldn't force the fumble, frustration took over. Romanowski grabbed one of Medjet's fingers and bent it back so far that it broke. Over the next 3 seasons, he remained the starting right outside linebacker for San Francisco and did not miss a single game. During that stretch, he recorded an interception, 3 forced fumbles, 3 sacks, and 260 tackles. Even though his performance remained strong, the 49ers were unable to recreate the Super Bowl success they had enjoyed during his first 2 seasons in the league. By this point, Romanowski had already built a reputation as one of the hardest-hitting linebackers in the NFL. But with that reputation also came the label of being a dirty player. During his time with the 49ers, it was reported that in a game against the Minnesota Vikings, Romanowski made a threat early in the matchup to Vikings Hall of Fame wide receiver Chris Carter, saying he intended to injure him. In response, Carter reportedly placed a bounty on Romanowski, telling his offensive linemen that if they protected him throughout the game, he would pay for their dinners. The same intensity that made Romanowski such a fierce competitor may also have contributed to the end of his time in San Francisco. According to reports, teammates became frustrated because he would take cheap shots at Jerry Rice during practice. Rice was the face of the franchise and widely considered the greatest wide receiver in football history. Risking his health in practice was something the team could not tolerate. So, on draft day in 1994, Romanowski was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a second-round and a sixth-round pick. The new environment did nothing to change his playing style. In Week 2 of the 1995 season, Romanowski was ejected for the first time in his career after kicking Arizona Cardinals fullback Larry Centers in the head multiple times. The incident also resulted in a $4,500 fine. Even with moments like this, he continued to perform at a high level. The Eagles reached the divisional round of the playoffs in the 1995 season, though they failed to make the postseason in Romanowski's final year with the team. During his 2 seasons in Philadelphia, he recorded 4 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 3.5 sacks, and 129 tackles. Before the 1996 season, Romanowski joined his 3rd NFL team, the Denver Broncos. He quickly fit in and became a key part of the Broncos' defense. In his first season with Denver, he recorded 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, and 77 tackles, earning the first Pro Bowl selection of his career. However, the season ended in disappointment when the Broncos were shocked in the divisional round of the playoffs by the Jacksonville Jaguars, losing 30-27. The following season, Romanowski found himself in trouble with the league once again. It didn't matter whether the game was meaningful or not. Whenever Romanowski stepped on the field, he played with the same ruthless intensity. One incident came during a preseason game, a time when most players are simply trying to get back into form, while others are fighting to avoid being cut. During that game, Romanowski delivered a helmet-to-helmet hit on Carolina Panthers quarterback Kerry Collins that broke his jaw. Later that season, during a Monday Night Football matchup against the San Francisco 49ers, cameras caught Romanowski spitting on wide receiver J.J. Stokes after being taunted. Despite the penalties and controversies throughout the year, he still performed at a high level, finishing the season with an interception, a forced fumble, 2 sacks, and 70 tackles. Romanowski played a major role in the Broncos' playoff run, which ended with a 31-24 victory over the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. The win gave him the 3rd championship ring of his career. In 1998, he returned to the Pro Bowl after recording 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 7.5 sacks, and 72 tackles. That season also saw Denver make another Super Bowl appearance, this time against the Atlanta Falcons. The Broncos handled the game comfortably, winning 34-19 and securing their 2nd straight Super Bowl title. The following year, Romanowski was once again making headlines, but not for awards or championships. During a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, he lost control and delivered 3 illegal hits while also throwing a punch at Hall of Fame tight end Tony Gonzalez. The league responded with a hefty $42,500 fine. Later in the same season, during a game against the New York Jets, he was fined again, this time for throwing a football at Byron Cox and hitting him in the groin. Romanowski stayed with the Broncos for 2 more seasons before requesting to be released, a request the team eventually granted. It didn't take long for him to find a new team. He remained in the AFC West and signed with the Oakland Raiders. Even at 36 years old during his first season in Oakland, Romanowski still played with the same intensity. In a game against the Tennessee Titans, he ripped the helmet off running back Eddie George, which led to a heated shoving match between the 2 players. That season, the Raiders made a run to the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. However, their defense struggled to contain Tampa Bay, and the Raiders lost heavily, 48-21. Although he was nearing 40, Romanowski began the 2003 season strongly, recording 2 sacks in the first 3 games. But a fight during practice ended up bringing his career, and a teammate's career, to a sudden end. Controversial end to his career. People often say old habits die hard. Early in Romanowski's career, he had gotten into a fight with Charles Haley during practice. In a strange twist, his career would effectively end in a similar way, another fight during practice. There are several conflicting accounts of how the incident unfolded. Romanowski claimed he was reacting after being pushed from behind. Another teammate, Ryan Prince, said Romanowski threw the first punch, knocking Marcus Williams' helmet off. According to that account, once the helmet came off, Romanowski threw another punch that changed everything. The punch landed directly in Williams' eye, crushing his eye socket and causing serious damage, including brain injury. The incident effectively ended both of their NFL careers. Allegations following him in retirement. After his retirement, another major story surfaced that shed light on his career. In 2003, the client list of the Bay Area steroid laboratory Balco was leaked to the media, and Romanowski's name appeared among the alleged clients. It was already known that he took an enormous amount of supplements daily, reportedly around 100 pills a day and spending nearly $200,000 each year. However, few people knew exactly what was included in that routine, and steroids turned out to be part of it. Romanowski eventually admitted to using steroids, though he claimed the use only occurred between the 2001 and 2003 seasons. Another possible explanation for many of the incidents throughout his career was the constant head trauma he experienced. Romanowski and his wife were once accused of prescription drug fraud, although the charges were later dropped. He spent 17 seasons in the NFL, and when speaking about the toll the game took on his body, he admitted that the end of his career frightened him. He said the concussions were piling up. After delivering a big hit, he would often feel dazed and confused, and he noticed his memory starting to fade. Romanowski estimated that he suffered nearly 20 concussions during his career. In today's game, even 3 or 4 concussions can be enough to end a player's career. After retiring, he also faced accusations of racism following a now-deleted tweet directed at Cam Newton. In the tweet, Romanowski wrote, "You will never last in the NFL with that attitude. The world doesn't revolve around you, boy, Cam Newton." He later clarified his statement on Twitter, saying, "Calm down, everyone. I meant he needs to grow up." Romanowski also held a press conference where he apologized and further explained his original comment. This also caused many people to revisit his past confrontations, especially the incident where he spit on J.J. Stokes. Even with all the controversies surrounding him both on and off the field, Romanowski remained a well-known figure and eventually appeared in video games and movies. He showed up on the big screen in The Longest Yard, Shooting Gallery, The Benchwarmers, Whiners, Get Smart, Bedtime Stories, Jack and Jill, and Blended. He was also featured on the cover of Blitz, The League. Outside of entertainment, he started his own nutritional supplement company called Nutrition 53 and became a minority owner of NASCAR's Swan Racing. Romanowski also co-wrote an autobiography titled Romo, My Life on the Edge, Living Dreams and Slaying Dragons. Even after retiring, he stayed connected to football, working as a defensive coordinator at Piedmont High School. He also tried to return to the NFL as a coach, putting his name forward for the Denver Broncos head coaching job in 2009 and later being considered for a strength and conditioning coach role with the Washington Commanders. However, his finances quickly became a problem after retirement. He had to pay $415,000 to Marcus Williams following the punch that ended the tight end's career. In 2024, he declared bankruptcy after being sued by the IRS for more than $15 million in unpaid taxes. Today, Bill Romanowski is often remembered as one of the dirtiest players in NFL history. ESPN even ranked him as the 5th dirtiest player in the history of professional team sports. Still, his impact and dedication to the game cannot be denied. Over a 16-year career, he finished with 1,118 tackles, 39.5 sacks, 19 forced fumbles, 18 interceptions, and 1 pick-six. He earned 2 Pro Bowl selections and played in 4 Super Bowls. He ranked 7th all-time in playoff games played, 56th in combined tackles, and 107th in forced fumbles. Romanowski was a player with an extreme drive to prove himself at every level. He played 243 consecutive games, which was an NFL record at the time. He was the definition of an Iron Man, and while his temper was well known, his talent on the field was undeniable. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Vault and Victory so you don't miss the next ones.